Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for today's announcements, which are focused on supporting economic diversification, employment, and the technology and innovation sector in Newfoundland and Labrador. My name is Christopher Mitchellmore, and I'm the Minister of Tourism, Culture, Industry, and Innovation, and I'm the MC for today's event. Joining us for today's announcement, we have the Honourable Dwight Ball, Premier of Newfoundland and Labrador, Brian Chafe, CEO of the PAL Group of Companies, Ron Taylor, who's the CEO of the Newfoundland and Labrador Association of Technology Industries, Jim House, the Provincial Director of the Atlantic Canada Aerospace and Defence Association, and I also want to welcome two special guests from the provincial technology sector who are in the audience today. They are Sean Kennedy, who's the Vice Chair of Canadian Manufacturers and Exporters of Newfoundland and Labrador, and the Newfoundland and Labrador Environmental Industry Association Vice Chair, Alex Templeman. Welcome. We also have a number of MHAs and ministers here today. I'm pleased to welcome MHAs Mark Brown, Bernard Davis, Minister Cathy Bennett, Minister John Haggie, and Minister Dale Kirby. I will now call on Premier Ball to the podium to make today's announcements. Premier Ball.
Thank you, Christopher, and welcome everyone. Last fall, if you remember, we launched our Way Forward, which was a vision for the sustainability and growth in Newfoundland and Labrador. But that vision also included a number of strategies to strengthen our province's economy, also about finding efficiencies, about delivering better services, achieving better outcomes. Now, the first set of initiatives were focused on restoring fiscal balance. And these initiatives played a huge role in ensuring that we hit our fiscal targets through Budget 2017 and to help our province return to surplus. I know I have Minister Bennett over there, and she's played such an instrumental role in keeping all of us as government departments on task. So I want to mention Cathy because she's done a remarkable job in making sure that our financial house stays in order. So having restored sustainability to our province's finances and having corrected more than $1 billion in projected deficits, the next set of initiatives were focused on building economic strengths. We all know that in the province we were coming off 3 mega projects, which meant that jobs in Newfoundland and Labrador were critical to economic development in our province. Now, headlining those initiatives is our new Cabinet Committee on Jobs. We launched this last month, and at that time we announced a partnership with the aquaculture industry and the agriculture industry. The Cabinet Committee on Jobs has a mandate to partner with the business community, sector by sector. This to stimulate new economic activity, create new jobs that Newfoundlanders and Labradorians can build their futures on. Our province's technology sector has a unique potential to not only foster economic strength, but also create new opportunities that will attract and retain bright young minds in our province and around the world. For that reason, I am excited to be here today with representatives of our province's technology sector to announce a partnership that has the potential to create substantial economic activity and employment. Our partnership with the technology sector is led by 4 organizations: the Newfoundland and Labrador Association of Technology Industries, NATI, the Canadian Manufacturers and Exporters, CME, and the Newfoundland and Labrador Environmental Industry Association, which is NIA, and the Atlantic Canada Aerospace and Defence Association. Now, each of these associations, they have their own data, and that speaks to the tremendous potential for achieving economic gains by supporting technology and innovation. For example, information from NATI would say that their total revenue has tripled since 2009 to $1.5 billion, and employment grew to nearly 4,000 people. CME has noted that there are now almost 700 provincially based manufacturing companies achieving total sales of $6 billion. So collectively, between those two associations, you would see over $7.5 billion. But at CME, they also note that these companies are focused on innovating a way to stay competitive globally. NIA, they have 200 member businesses advancing the development of clean technology and the growth of a clean economy. These companies are pursuing the valuable work at a time when clean technology can be a powerful diversifier with the existing industries. It was also important to note that the federal government and the provinces have made substantial commitments to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and reduce environmental impacts. The development and adoption of clean technology will be critical to achieving these objectives while contributing to substantial economic development. The Atlantic Canada Aerospace and Defence Association, they know that the aerospace industry generated some $27 billion nationally and employed over 87,000 Canadians in 2016. So these statistics, they underline the economic opportunities that are out there for their 200 member organizations that they represent. While all these industry associations would agree, there are tremendous economic opportunities presented by the tech sector. But they also agree that companies need support to help grow their scale of operations that can be successful in pursuing these operations. So scaling up, seeing the potential in some of those companies is important, because we can take, with support of government, we can take a company that's employing 5 people and take that to 10, 15, 20, and beyond. A recent article in the Financial Post identified that Canada, as a country, Canada deserves good marks for investing in tech companies at the startup stage. But we need more money in the ready-to-scale category. In light of that, I am pleased to announce that our government will work with industry with a shared goal of supporting the scaling of 20 firms in the technology sector per year. We will do this through targeted export and market development opportunities. So it's strategically working with 20 companies and providing them and supporting them with the ability to scale up and create jobs in our province. In summary, we are taking steps to ensure tech startups and micro-businesses blossom into larger enterprises that provide meaningful, long-term employment right here in our province. Similar to the partnership with the aquaculture and the agricultural sectors, our government will meet with the industry players to determine the best courses of action and then release our approach at an upcoming industry summit. We announced last month with the agriculture and the aquaculture industry that we would do industry summits with them as well. So the first industry summit would be done with the aquaculture industry in September, then we would be proceeding with the next summit in October. So it's an aggressive approach, and this will be supported by our Cabinet Committee on Jobs. However, to provide an immediate example of our government's commitment to helping provincially based technology firms succeed and grow, I am pleased to make a second announcement this morning that provides the great company that is hosting us today with this announcement. PAL employs 900 people, 740 of them right here in Newfoundland and Labrador. To support the growth and diversification of one of our province's foremost innovation-driven businesses, I am pleased to announce that our government will provide support of $2.25 million as a forgivable loan to PAL Aerospace to support the Force Multiplier project. This is a forgivable loan contingent on the company achieving the employment target of 150 person-years of employment. An additional $750,000 in financing will be provided by the Research and Development Corporation. The Force Multiplier project, which is seen behind me, something PAL from Star Wars, I would say, but the Force Multiplier project seen behind me involves modifying a Dash 8 aircraft to operate as a special mission aircraft. This aircraft will be used for domestic and international opportunities, including maritime surveillance, and will expand on PAL's current business model and build on its existing technologies. The new project has a number of benefits for our province, which will include things like the creation of new long-term jobs in the aerospace industry, the enhancement and growth of new research and development opportunities from a variety of new components and systems that are being installed by PAL for the first time, but also in the development of new components and new systems in the future. And of course, another benefit would be the continuing of economic diversification within our province. So I wish Provincial Aerospace all the best with this project, and I am confident that with their leadership and their employees, they will enjoy great success. I mentioned to Brian this morning, I have quoted him on a number of events because right here in this hangar a few months ago, Brian made a comment when he said that when we compete globally, and I know that I have Newfoundlanders and Labradorians on your team, on the PAL team, that they see us, they see PAL with a competitive advantage. It's because of people like you in this room that gives PAL that competitive advantage, and it is why we are here today supporting them for future success. Success in the technology sector is based largely on a culture, creativity, and confidence. Three areas where Newfoundland and Labrador's entrepreneurs excel. This partnership with industry via our Cabinet Committee on Jobs and our partnership with PAL will leverage our province's natural strengths into new business activities and employment that will strengthen our economy for years to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Premier. And as Minister of Tourism, Culture, Industry and Innovation, I want to take this opportunity to build upon the Premier's comments. I know firsthand that the technology sector in our province is impressive, and the ecosystem that's been built around innovation has really set the stage for new growth and new development for many years to come. By focusing our support on helping technology firms grow, I am confident that we will build on the number of companies that are doing very exciting work in our province and create a wealth of opportunity for people in Newfoundland and Labrador who want to work in the province's very diverse tech sector. I'd also like to acknowledge and recognize that Bob Cadigan is here, President and CEO of NOIA, one of our other associations. There's a number of academia and other business and corporate partners, and all of the employees that are here with PAL. I would now like to call upon Brian Chafe, CEO of the PAL Group of Companies, to speak to the Force Multiplier project, a really exciting initiative that's happening right here in Newfoundland and Labrador. Thank you.
It's great to see all our staff here, I got to say. I'm really proud. Premier Ball, Minister Mitchell-Moore, other ministers, MPs, thanks for allowing us to be part of your announcement today, and obviously, thanks for the support that you're showing PAL and PAL's Aerospace Force Multiplier initiative. I can't emphasize enough the importance of your support. Yes, it will drive economic growth but in high-paying jobs, but our Force Multiplier program, we believe, is a game changer in this industry. So your leadership and support is certainly greatly appreciated. Behind me, we are building the first Force Multiplier, and I'll say it's the first because we have plans for more than one. It will have state-of-the-art radar from Thales on board. It has our own CartNav mission system, our own surveillance information server, our most state-of-the-art camera from Westcam, some other technologies. It has a lot of our unique firsts on it, which is a drop hatch we've invented here for search and rescue, the night photography that we're reinventing that no one has copied in 30 years. So we're going to have a state-of-the-art asset that is going to be on demand and ready to serve a niche in the marketplace that currently is unserved, and I believe it's going to be a major game changer for our company. And that's nothing new. We've certainly been doing that for 30 or 40 years. We built on the past owners' innovation and success. some 30-odd years ago when we decided to use an anti-submarine warfare radar to detect ice. And today we're building the next generation of that, which is the Force Multiplier. You know, today is certainly the province's announcement, so I'm pleased to be a part of it. But I am very proud, and it's great to see all our staff out here today. For me, it's a show of support for the company, but who is our company if it isn't our employees? And we're successful because of our employees. And I didn't know I was that smart when I said that quote the Premier referenced, and he said that to me before, but I believe it. I certainly can tell you that it gives us a load of confidence when we're going around the world competing. And I certainly believe that our talent base and our workforce here is the best in the world, and the talent here is unbelievable. And to me, this announcement today is just a reaffirmation that not only do we see it here in PAL, but the government of Newfoundland sees it and other industry leaders see it. So congratulations to everyone here. Thanks again for your support. And I would like, an opportunity for a lot of people in the government to interact with our staff here, because you're going to find some amazing people. And I encourage you to do that at the barbecue and the event afterwards. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Brian, and certainly PAL's Force Multiplier project will leave its mark, I think, globally. It's going to be a big initiative that's being undertaken here today. I will now call upon Ron Taylor, the CEO of NADI, to the podium to comment on the partnership that's been announced today.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell-Moore, Premier Ball, ladies and gentlemen. It's really great to be here today and talk about some of the fantastic things that are going on in our province in technology. As mentioned, NADI, we're the Newfoundland Labrador Association of Technology Industries, and we represent the interests of the technology sector in our province. And our goal is to fuel the growth of economy. Our goal is to fuel the growth of the technology sector in Newfoundland and Labrador, and to encourage a startup culture in our province. And a huge part of what's going on here today is the startup scene that's happening, and that's going to be the future of our province and the future companies you're going to see down the road. It was mentioned that the technology sector is about 165 companies, 3,990 employees as of 2015, and about $1.6 billion a year in annual revenue. And that works out to about over $400,000 per job in Newfoundland and Labrador, so it's a huge multiplier. Local technology companies are putting Newfoundland and Labrador on the map with internationally recognized technology innovations ranging from ocean technologies, sonar imaging, wireless technology, data security, to the incredible work you see here today at Provincial Aerospace. If you want an example of that, a few years ago I brought through a Brazilian group here on a tour of the factory. Derek Scott was good enough to take us through, and they were showing them one of the surveillance aircrafts they were building for I believe it was the UAE. And they asked what the size of the contract was, and I think Derek said it was $300 and some odd million. And looked at the plane and they said, "So how many more of those planes are you building?" And he said, "That's it, one plane." So he had a $20 million plane with about $300 and some odd million worth of technology in it. So that's a perfect example of what's driving the economy in our province. Another way that we highlight innovation here in Newfoundland and Labrador, we have an annual innovation week that we hold in our province. And this year, it brought together 29 events over 6 days and 6 nights that highlighted all the great things that were happening here in Newfoundland and Labrador innovation through many of the groups and associations and industry leaders that you see in the room here today. If you want some more information on it, it's available at innovationweek.ca. But it doesn't stop there. Through our meetups, cafes, pitch events, and our hacking weekends, we, meaning we, the community here of Newfoundland and Labrador, are evolving business, health, and governments to create better outcomes through innovation. By bringing together startups, youth, business, private and public partners, new connections can be forged, and we're able to build a more prosperous and successful province that will benefit all Newfoundlanders and Labradorians, both here today and in the future. Innovation through technology is a unique opportunity to build on all that is remarkable in our province, and NADI is pleased to be part of this partnership with the Government of Newfoundland and Labrador, our public, private, and industry partners. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron, and it's really clear from startup to scale up to going global, there's an incredible amount of opportunity in the tech sector, and the announcement that the Premier made today and how we're going to continue to work with the private sector to leverage all of these opportunities is very exciting. I would now like to call upon Jim House, the Provincial Director of the Atlantic Canada Aerospace and Defence Association, to the podium.
Thank you, Minister. Distinguished guest Premier. I'm just going to be fairly succinct and quick here. I just want to build on what Brian and I were talking about earlier. So years ago when he and I met, there were about 160 people with PAL, and that would have been back in the 80s. And this announcement today is all about creating jobs, highly skilled jobs, for the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. And we don't really have to look past the walls of this hangar to understand that injecting support into companies like Provincial Aerospace and other companies around, and investing in technology to do that knowledge, to help with the knowledge transfer into the province, are key initiatives to help grow the province's jobs and highly skilled jobs, and in turn creating a strong economic base for Newfoundland and Labrador. So the Atlantic Canada Aerospace and Defence Association is very happy to be part of the steering committee to help forge ahead with the concept of creating good, strong technical jobs for Newfoundland and Labrador. And on behalf of the association, I'd like to thank the Premier and the government in their initiative to move towards increasing our strength in numbers, strength in technology, and strength in capability in Newfoundland and Labrador. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. And this concludes the formal portion of our event. At this time, I would invite the media to approach the podium as we set up for a question and answer session regarding today's announcement. Everyone else can feel free to move along the seating area and partake in a barbecue that's been graciously provided by PAL. I want to thank everybody for joining us here today for this morning's announcement as we advance the technology sector in Newfoundland and Labrador. Thank you.